Hey everyone, my name is Alex, and this is my art channel. Today I thought I would be doing something a little bit different. You see, I like to keep my channel nice and fresh and switch things up on it. And I decided today I'm going to try reviewing a common artist tool. Usually I may post something like a time-lapse video or a process that I enjoyed, or some funny art tools. But today, I'm gonna post a video about a product I like to use, something called Gesso. Now, Gesso is a product I've been using for several years, and it really has improved my art. So, first question then, what is Gesso? According to Google, Gesso is a white paint mixture consisting of a binding that mixed with chalk, gypsum, pigment, or any combination of these. It's used in painting as a preparation for any number of substrates, such as wood panels, canvas, and sculpture, and as a base for paint and other materials that are applied over it. According to the bottle that I use most often, Gesso primes the surface of your canvas. It adds tooth and gives an opaque matte white finish. It's non-yellowing and water-resistant when dry. It's good for making a ground for acrylic oil and pastels. It should be used on unprimed canvas, hardboard, paper, wood, and other non-oily porous surfaces. What does any of that mean? Well, when you make a painting and you decide to paint on an unprimed canvas, what can happen is your brush will be a little bit rough going over it. It's nice and scratchy. It really doesn't glide right over the canvas itself. There may even be little tiny holes from the canvas, and your canvas in your final painting will have noticeable imperfections in it, because it wasn't primed properly. Also, it just makes things a lot easier to paint with. Notice what happened in this example. Now, I'm not sure how much you're able to really see on the camera, but when I was painting this painting, the painting process was a lot tougher to do on the non-gesso side. I felt like it was really kind of scraping along, versus on the gesso side, it was like painting on something smooth and easy to brush against. Also, if we zoom in, this wasn't done intentionally or anything, but it seems like the paint is thicker on the gesso side. This paint itself isn't thicker, but because it's been primed, it's able to just stick to the surface easier and spread more evenly, versus on the non-gesso side, where the paint gets absorbed into the canvas material itself. Now, this was the first way I like to use gesso. The second way is kind of more of an opposite direction. I like to use it for repairing damaged canvases. Well, what do I mean? Well, let's take a look. Remember how earlier I said gesso was made with some binding agents? Well, just like glue, it really does have some good qualities to it, especially when it comes to damaged canvases. What I'm doing here is, this was a canvas that I intentionally damaged for demonstration purposes. If you have your damaged canvas and you take a piece of new canvas or old canvas, just something that more or less matches the same texture, you cut it out and you cover over the back of the hole. You add some gesso to it, you cover it up, and you apply some pressure to it, and you let it dry. Here I elected to use a varnish bottle because it was the right size for the piece of canvas that I had used as a patch. Now I've let the patched on piece of canvas dry for a bit. And if we look on the other side, we see a little bit of an indentation from where the varnish piece was, but that's fine. But we can see there's a little bit of a hole still. I'm going to apply a little bit more gesso, now covering up the surface here where the hole's mark was. And we're just going to start layering gesso onto it. So we add a little bit of gesso, we let it dry, add a little bit of more and let it dry, and repeat this process several times. If you notice, I was kind of spreading it around the rest of the canvas as opposed to just letting it pool only where the damaged area was. I did this because, like I said, it is a glue-like substance, so everywhere that the gesso is going to create a sense of thickness and layer. And if we spread it out, it helps balance out with the rest of the canvas and hides that we add a little bit more gesso to a particular spot. Now the painting is dried completely, and this is the kind of spot that I was left with. Now, clearly there's nothing else on this canvas, so we can clearly see where some of the gesso was applied. But here's an example of a canvas that I had damaged and gessoed and decided to still continue to use and paint it over. As we can clearly see, or as we cannot see, you can't really tell that there was any sign that the canvas has been damaged in any way. Not until you flip it over and see the patch. The front of the canvas looks as pretty as ever with the painting. Today we discussed 2 different ways of using gesso. Now, again, I'm not sponsored by Liquitex, even though today I was electing to use their gesso, and it's the one I primarily use just because I've gotten used to it and I know how to work with it. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do, because like I said, I use it all the time now for my paintings, and I love the way it feels, I love the way it interacts, and I feel like it really does improve the quality of my artwork, and at the same time improves the quality of the painting on the canvas itself. Thank you guys for taking the time to stop and watch this video. I appreciate all of you who have taken the time to subscribe and like and share your thoughts in the comment section. And with that in mind, I encourage my fellow artists out there to keep painting, and I'll see you in the next video.